30 Dirtiest Jokes, according to Reddit. Before we get into this, special thanks to Lexeus, who is a continuing beacon of motivation for me, without whom many of these would not get done. Thanks. Number 30. I broke up with my ex when I found out she'd been starring in bukkake movies online. She tried to tell me it wasn't true, but I could see it in her eyes. Ugh. Number 29. I said to my wife, "Let's go fishing." She said, "Nah, I don't want to go fishing." So I said to her, "There's two ways out of it, oral or anal." "Well, I'm not doing anal," she said. So she went down on me, but soon after says, "Jesus Christ, your dick tastes like shit." Yeah, the dog didn't want to go either. God. Number 28. What do you get when you mix human DNA with a goat? Banned from the petting zoo. That's two animal fucking ones in a row here. Number 27. What do you call a cheap circumcision? A ripoff. Brilliant. Number 26. Why was the 6-month-old African baby crying? He was having a midlife crisis. Jesus Christ. Number 25. I picked up this partially blind prostitute a few nights ago. She told me I was the biggest she'd ever had. I told her, "You're pulling my leg." Oh. That's kind of cute with some of these other ones. Number 24. A guy walks into a bar and asks for 10 shots of whiskey. The bartender asks him, "What are we celebrating tonight?" The man tells him, "My first blowjob." The bartender then says, "Congrats, the 11th is on me." The man then exclaims, "Hell no, if 10 shots can't get the taste out of my mouth, I don't think the 11th one will make a difference." My God. My God. Number 23. Roger's got a problem. He's old and horny, but his wife's gone cold on him. He's expressed his frustrations regarding his lack of sex to a coworker one day. "I have a solution," the coworker explains. "There is a prostitute I know who does amazing yet cheap blowjobs, and I don't know how, but she sings while she's doing it." Roger is intrigued. "She has one condition though," the coworker continues. "You have to be blindfolded the entire time." Roger agrees. He is blindfolded and taken to the singing blowjob prostitute. It's just like the coworker described. The blowjob is amazing. She somehow manages to make him come after only half a minute of working on his tip. And she sings in a beautiful voice the whole time. As he cleans up, Roger is still blindfolded in a chair. "That was amazing. How did you learn to do that?" "Promise you won't tell another soul?" she asks. "Promise." "Well, I learned to sing when I was 7, and I lost my eye when I was 10. Oh. I'm not gonna lie, I really like that one. Fine. God. Oh, God. Oh, man. Number 22. Well, I was eating out my grandma when I tasted horse cum, and I thought, so that's how you died. I've read this one before, but where the hell was it? Have I done this manner of list before? What's happening to me? Number 21. So I was talking to this 14-year-old girl one day online, talking about how to meet up with her for sex. She eventually tells me she's a cop. How cool is that for someone her age? We'd call that dirty. That's more like dark. That's more dark. Number 20. A little girl opens the bathroom door and sees her dad step out of the shower drying his head. "Daddy, when do I get a penis?" The father looks at the little girl. "When your mother leaves for work." But he says that he saw George Carlin tell this joke at a bar, at a casino, and it cleared the room. But he found it funny. Number 19. I once asked a Welsh friend of mine how many sexual partners he'd had. He started counting, but fell asleep. This is just a rude Welsh joke. How is this, come on. And why are the Welsh any more sexually active than any other? That's like, there's like a veiled compliment in this joke, you know? Because getting it on is not a bad thing, baby. Number 18. Why can't redneck girls never ride reverse cowgirl? Okay. Because you never turn your back on your family. Oh, come on. Number 17. So 4 pirates and a wench are sailing on a ship when the ship crash lands on a deserted island. They realize that there's no way to repair the ship and there's very little chance of rescue. So they're going to have to live on this island. The pirates and the wench come to an agreement. Then the pirates will take care of the shelter, food, firewood, and the like. In return, once each week, each pirate will have a day to fuck the wench as many times as they want. So this goes on for years and years until one sad day the wench dies. After the first week, the pirates say, this is okay, we can deal with this. At the second week, they're saying, well, this is bad, but we'll survive. During the third week, they said, I don't know how much longer I can stand this. Then the fourth week, they reached a consensus. They just couldn't do it anymore, so they buried her. I like this. Because it's leading you in the direction of like, oh, we're gonna make one of the dudes the new wench, and just because we need a hole to fuck, you know. But they've been fucking the dead wench the whole time. And they're just like, this is bad, but we'll survive. This is okay. We can deal with this. Oh my god. What are the comments on this one? I got halfway through reading that as a wrench. Why would you fuck a wrench? Somebody said, gotta bust a nut somehow. A waka waka. Number 16. After meeting, Tarzan takes Jane back to his treehouse, laying on the floor as she admires his muscular torso. While subtly opening her legs, she says to Tarzan, so big boy, what do you do when you have a desire to fuck? Tarzan looks at her and says, Tarzan find tree with hole. Then Tarzan fuck tree. Jane opens her legs wider and says, why don't you fuck me like you fuck the trees? As Tarzan removes his loincloth, and as Jane gets excited to see his huge cock, suddenly, without warning, he kicks Jane right in the cunt. Wincing on the floor, she finally catches her breath and shouts, what the fuck did you do that for? Tarzan check for squirrels first. Okay. Maybe Sarah Bishop is laughing. I can hear her from here. Number 15. Me, what's the difference between a child and a hooker? Friend, I don't know. Me, you sick fuck. Oh, come on. Set that guy up. Number 14. Bob's out with the rest of his army troop on deployment out in the middle of nowhere. After a couple of months, the loneliness and sexual frustration starts really getting to him. He even tries subtly beating off in his bunk while the rest of his room's asleep, but gets sharply hissed at from the guy next to him. Bob internally curses that, of course, he got stuck next to the light sleeper. After a bit of hush scolding, the other guy softens up a bit. I understand, Rob, I really do. We all got urges. Just don't wank around the rest of us. Dude, it's not right. Well, what do I do then? Asks Bob frustratedly. How do you survive without beating off this long? There aren't even any brothels nearby to pay for a bit of relief. The guy looks carefully at Bob and after a moment says, you know, you seem on the level, and more importantly, I don't want you wanking in here. There's a tree out about half a mile south of here. It's half hollow, but if you slide your dick in the middle hole on the south side of it, you'll swear you were fucking the tightest pussy on earth. Some brave dudes fucking a tree, man. That is not a place you want to splinter. Bob thinks this sounds absolutely ridiculous, but he's desperate. Of course, he goes to check it out the very next night. Lo and behold, there's a tree, and yes, he can see a small hole perfectly shaped to slide his dick into. Shrugging his shoulders, he goes ahead, and the other guy was right. Tight as fuck, warm and soft. Bob half wonders if this is a magic tree. Only takes a few seconds for him to bust a nut. He's so pent up, and he returns like clockwork as soon as he has the free time in the evening. The next 4 times are as good as the first, but the next time he comes back, the tree suddenly feels, well, like a hollow tree. Like the last few times, Bob's confused and furious in equal measure when he sees his bunkmate headed towards the tree too. I think it's broken, Bob tries to explain. His bunkmate shakes his head as he loosens the buckle of his belt. Nah, Bob. It's just your turn inside the tree. Ew. Ew. There are jokes in the responses. Ew. Number 13, man. What's the difference between a chickpea and a garbanzo bean? I've never been paid to have a garbanzo bean on my face. Get it? A chickpea on my face. Okay. Number 12. A British officer is newly assigned to a remote foreign outpost. After a few weeks, he quietly takes a sergeant aside and asks, what do the men do when they feel, urges? The sergeant nods and starts, right, sir, well, there's a camel, but it is immediately cut off by the officer. I can't even imagine being that desperate. The weeks turn to months. He gets that desperate. Afterwards, battered and kicked, he's talking to the sergeant. My, that was unpleasant. I don't know how the men put up with it. Well, sir, the men usually just ride the camel to the nearest town and visit the brothel. Oh, gross. He fucked the camel. He fucked the camel because he jumped the gun. Oh boy. Number 11. Not a dirty joke, more of a dark joke. At least you admit it. A man is walking down along the beach and he notices a woman with no arms or legs in her wheelchair by the shore crying. He asks, "Why are you crying?" She replies, "I've never been hugged before." So the man gives her a hug. Upon noticing her crying still, he then asks, "Why are you still crying?" She asks, "I never even been kissed before." And so the man gives her a kiss. Still crying, he then asks, "What is wrong now?" She tells him, "I have never been fucked before." So the man picks her up and throws her in the ocean and yells, "Now you fucked." Somebody said my dad told me this when I was 13. It was the hardest I ever saw him laugh. I like the fact that the dad told him the joke and then was just like dying. Yes. Number 10. Why are priests so bad at marathons? Because they're always coming in a little behind. Ew. Oh God, those poor little altar boys getting fucked, man. Jeez. Number 9. Dude goes to the doctor and says, "Doc, my asshole is the size of a dustbin lid." Doc says, "Fuck, I better have a look." Soul mate went down. Whoa. So old mate down with the pants bends over, and sure enough, arsehole is the size of a dustbin lid. The doc says, "Fuck, that's bad. How did this happen?" Bloke says, "I was on safari in Africa and an elephant raped me." The doc says, "Fuck, that's bad. But I thought elephants had really long cocks, but not all that thick." The bloke says, "Yeah, but the bastard fingered me first." This is so weird. Number 8, man. A husband came home to find that his wife had her suitcase packed in the living room. "Where the hell do you think you're going?" he says. "I'm going to Las Vegas. You earn $400 for a blowjob there, and I figure that I might as well earn money for what I do to you for free." The husband thinks for a moment, goes upstairs and comes back with his suitcase packed as well. "Where do you think you're going?" the wife asks. "I'm coming with you. I want to see you survive on $800 a year." The joke being mathematically that she only averages about 2 blowjobs to the husband a year. Why would anyone get married to somebody who turns out like this? Women, if you're not giving it to your men, you're monsters, okay? Okay. And if you don't have men, then talk to Kaya. Yeah, I'm kidding. Number 7, man. A boy walks into a whorehouse, dragging a dead frog tied to a string. He says to the hostess, "I want the cheapest, dirtiest whore you got." The lady says, "All right, kid, room number 10. He throws the lady a tip and goes to the room. He has his way with the whore for a while and leaves feeling accomplished. The hostess stops the boy and says, "Hey kid, I gotta ask, what made you want the dirtiest whore we have?" The boy says, "Well, later, mom and dad will still be at work and I'll go to my babysitter. The babysitter will touch me and hopefully catch whatever disease I just got from that whore. Then dad will come and pick me up, but before we leave, he'll sleep with the babysitter and get the disease. Then, when we go home, mommy will come home from work, sleep with daddy, and give her the disease. Then tomorrow morning, the daddy leaves for work. The mailman will come and sleep with my mom, and then he will get the disease. And that's the cunt who ran over my frog." Oh, his poor frog. His poor frog. The babysitter will touch me. That's so messed up. That's so messed up. Number 6. Bill and Marla decided that the only way to pull off a Sunday afternoon quickie with their 10-year-old son in the apartment was to send him out on the balcony and order him to report on all the neighborhood activities. The boy began his commentary as his parents put their plan into operation. "There's a car being towed from the parking lot," he said. "An ambulance just drove by. A few moments passed. Looks like the Andersons are having company." He called out. "Matt's riding a new bike and the Coopers are having sex." Mom and Dad shot up in bed. "How do you know that?" the startled father asked. "Their kid is standing out on the balcony too," his son replied. Oh boy. Number 5. A man with 5 penises goes to a tailor to get a new pair of pants. The tailor says, "5 penises? How do your pants fit?" The man says, "Like a glove." I think my delivery made it even stupider. A man with 5 penises. Number 4, man. So I went to the doctor to get a physical, and he tells me you need to stop masturbating. I asked, "Why, doc?" And he says, "Because I'm trying to give you a physical." The implication being that he's doing it right then and there. Wow. Number 3. What did Cinderella say when she got to the ball? Choking noises. Brilliant. The implication being that she was sucking that duck so hard, she got all the way down to the ball. All the way down to the ball. All the way down to the ball. I can't make choking noises. I don't know. Number 2. There was a little girl and her mother walking through the park one day. And they saw Let's try that again. There was a little girl and her mother walking through the park one day, and they saw 2 teenagers having sex on a bench. The little girl says, "Mommy, what are they doing?" The mother hesitates, then quickly replies, "They're making cakes. Now come on, we'll go to the zoo." At the zoo, the little girl sees 2 monkeys having sex. Again, she asks her mother, "What are they doing?" And her mother replies with the same response, "They're making cakes." That's it, we're going home. The next day, the girl says to her mother, "Mommy, you and Daddy were making cakes in the living room last night, weren't you?" Shocked, the mother says, How do you know? She says,
Because I licked the icing off the sofa.
oh my God. Number 1. Farmer walks into the bedroom with a lamb under his arm and says, "This is the pig I'm fucking when you have a headache." The wife says, "That's a lamb, you moron." The farmer replies, "I was talking to the lamb." Oh my God. I was talking to the lamb. This is the pig I'm fucking when you have a headache. I was talking to the lamb. I'm sorry. Yo, it's just so, come on. There's something uncool about calling women pigs, man. But I don't know. It gets me every time. I know this is a shorter list, and I'm definitely going to be wanting to put out something more in the future. It's a silly list, not intense. We're waiting for one to cook, so to speak. So when that's done cooking, I'll record that. Special thanks again to Lexeus for his ongoing contributions. Mr. Newting is like single-handedly keeping this channel afloat. I really want to start a series on depression in the hopes that people can have a bit of relief in finding ways that will work for them. So we'll see where that goes. Until next time, take it easy. Love you. Bye, 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 bye.